You guys have no idea how long I've waited to talk about this movie. A lot like Fantasia, it's one of those movies that I loved growing up as a kid, and it's still one of my favorites. It's not like one of the best Disney movies ever, no, but it is a great movie, and I'm excited to finally talk about it with you guys. This was a huge favorite from my childhood. It's the one that I think I've rewatched the most out of everything that I've seen. And considering everything I've seen, that's saying something. But every time I watch this movie, I just have an amazing time. And maybe it's also because I'm a sucker for medieval fantasy, who knows. But what I can tell you is that this movie's great. It's severely underappreciated, and I can only hope that this review gets more of you to watch it, because this movie is fantastic, and I'm so happy to finally talk about it. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. What's up, what's happening, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, frames for anything and everything animation. I screwed up my intro again, damn. As well as TV and movies, I'm your host, Jackson Small. Welcome to my review of the criminally underrated childhood favorite, The Sword in the Stone. I loved this one as a kid, I still love it now, and it is one of those Disney movies that I'm surprised does not get more attention than it actually deserves. Because this is one of those movies that kind of falls into the underrated category, because not many people talk about it, barely anyone even remembers it exists, and I don't get it, because as a kid, I loved it, and as an adult, honestly, I love it even more. Yes, it is educational, let's get that out of the way right now. This movie has a very hard focus on education, but it's done in a way where it's actually entertaining and not cringe, so for that alone, it deserves your watch. But let's talk about all the other reasons why this movie works, again, without going into spoilers, because that's what I do here. So, I've been waiting a long time to talk about this movie, and today's finally the day. So, without further ado or delay, here's my review for Sword in the Stone. I hope you enjoy, and I hope that it convinces you guys to check this movie out for yourself by any means necessary. It is truly a gem that was severely underappreciated in its time. While I didn't have much to say about 101 Dalmatians, I have a lot to say about Sword in the Stone, because even as a kid, this one was a huge favorite of mine and easily one of Disney's most criminally underrated movies. I really loved this one back then, and I really love this one now. The rotoscope animation is more refined and looks better than it did in 101 Dalmatians. The characters are instantly iconic. Even Arthur himself, despite being a clean slate, is full of character and personality. Way better than Disney's last attempt at trying to do this story with Bambi. Then Merlin is just super fun. He's my favorite character in the movie, and honestly one of my favorite Disney characters, period. He's just such a off-the-wall, nutty, but fun character that you just can't help but love. Then Owl's pretty cool too, even though he does, well, Archimedes, excuse me, that's his actual name. Archimedes the Owl is also really good, but it's definitely Arthur and Merlin that steal the show here. The characters are great. Sorry, I almost repeated myself, but I stopped myself. The voice acting is great, even though Arthur's went through puberty mid-recording, which is kind of hilarious looking at nowadays. The story is fantastic and actually makes education edutaining. Edutaining? Yes, that's a word, look it up. Miss Madame Mim is an amazing villain. Yes, she's not the main villain, and she's really there for only like one scene, but she makes this movie instantly memorable than it already was. She's so much fun, she's so off the wall, and she matches Merlin's manic energy so well. Which leads into solid pacing, the incredible, awesome wizard battle, which is the best part of the movie. The ending twist is really good for those who don't know beforehand what this is actually based on, and because I think that twist is so good, I'm not going to tell you what it's actually based on. Even though if you already know, it kind of ruins it, but if you don't, it's going to be a nice surprise when you realize what it's actually based on. The jokes are non-stop funny. This is one of the funniest Disney movies that I have watched in a while, and in recent memory, honestly. This movie, joke after joke after joke, just lands with me, and it just keeps making me laugh every time I watch it. And honestly, as an adult, it makes me laugh even more with some of the crude adult jokes they actually got away with, which was pretty funny. The runtime's perfect, it's not too long, it's not too short, it's just right, and rewatchability is really high. I cannot tell you how many times that I have rewatched this movie over the years, from childhood to adulthood to now. Like, I have watched this movie so many times that I can't even begin to describe to you. Like, honestly, I think if I can maybe show you, I'm not sure if it's still there or not. Yeah. That speaks for itself. It is scratched to shite. It is scratched to all shite. But, yeah, I rewatched the crap out of this movie, which is why this disc is so damaged and worn, because I watched it so much. But I think after this review, I just might watch it again. Yeah, I love this movie that much, and I don't care if I'm the only one that actually loves it as much as I do. That being said, though, as much as I do enjoy it, it does have flaws. I'm not gonna mince words on this movie, because as much as I love it, as much as I think this is a great, fantastic Disney movie, and a huge improvement over the painful mediocrity of 101 Dalmatians, this movie still has problems. And I do want to address them, because I am a critic, that's what I do. So, what are the problems with this movie? Well, the side characters are just okay, for number one. I'm mainly talking about the castle people. I'm not talking about Merlin or Archimedes or the girl squirrel or anything like that. I'm talking about the castle people. I know they're not like a big part of the movie, but they are there in a pretty mostly prevalent way, and I don't really remember them that much, aside from the one dude's really goofy Cockney accent. A few jokes every now and then are pretty hit or miss. Like, this movie is hilarious, but it does have a joke every now and then that kind of flies over your head. The music is okay, but a bit generic. I do really like the music in this movie, and it does work well for the movie that it is. But I can't say I'd really listen to these outside of watching the movie again. Outside of maybe the song Merlin sings while him and Arthur are swimming around as fish in the pond. That song's great. And the ending is rushed. Yeah, I'm not gonna mince words. The ending is rushed and anticlimactic, and since I didn't know what this was actually based on, I was kind of unsatisfied by the ending, because it felt like it was about to turn into another chapter, but then the movie just ends instead. It's weird. Overall, though, I still really love this one. I can understand why it doesn't work for some people because of the educational elements, but I've had a great time watching it and can easily recommend it. It's very underrated and deserves a lot more love. It is a great time. Do not let the fact that this is education-based scare you away. It is a fantastic film. It is a film that I definitely think should be used in history classes for medieval stuff, and it's just a great film. Like, even if you take out the educational elements, it's a great film and just a really fun time. Like, 101 Dalmatians, I'm not watching that movie again. But this, I can pop it in any day, anytime, anywhere, and still enjoy it as much as I did when I was a kid. That may be controversial, but it's my opinion. And in my opinion, this movie deserves a high final verdict of an 8.5 out of 10. Pick this one up, check it out by any means necessary. It is worth your time and deserves more love and recognition than it gets. Criminally underrated gem. And that's it. That's literally all I've got for Sword in the Stone. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this review convinced you guys to check this movie out, because it really does deserve more love and attention. It really does. It's such a good movie. But next time, I'm probably going to make some people mad, because I got to talk about a movie that's very beloved once again, but once again, one that I don't have a whole lot to say about. It's better than 101 Dalmatians, but it also comes with a bit of a sad story with it, too. So, I'll tell you guys all about it next time when we dive into the beloved, but very, very flawed Jungle Book. Yes, I have the tape for this one. So, I'll tell you all about it in the next review.
Listen, I will soon forget. So listen and you won't regret. Be true to yourself. Don't miss your chance, and you won't end up like the fool who ripped his pants.